tuned into the Middle Initial Podcast. Today is April 4th, 2023, and I'm here with my co-hosts as usual, Jude A. Jackson and Kevin A. Lewis. Jude, what's up? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you guys doing? I'm doing good. Can't complain. Saturday I went out for a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Sunday I stayed home. That's about it. See Kev's face.
Very
This is
happy
the
to hear
first.
from you on
Yeah,
Tuesday because I know
right.
come Friday, 5 p.m., I'm not gonna hear from
That's
you
it.
until Monday.
Clocking out.
I know you're gonna clock out. You're clocking out of us, and you're just gonna do whatever it is that you do for the weekend.
Well, Saturday I'm planning on going to the Mets game. So if you guys want to, I'm putting an invite right now so everyone can see it. If you guys want to go to the Mets game, I'll be going for a friend of mine. I'll be at the Braves most likely.
We got to bitch and moan to get an invite to a little fucking baseball game. Think about that for a second. We got to bitch and moan. Like, he couldn't even just come with this first and foremost. No, we have to bitch and moan to get an invite to a fucking baseball game on a Saturday. Like, this is where we're at.
You happy now? Are you happy?
Like, here, nigga, damn. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a start. It's a start. We're starting small. We start small when we make big steps.
Can't complain. You're right.
That's not small. That's not even a step, dog. I don't even know what that's called. It's not a step. It's not a step.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
How was your weekend, Kev?
Good, man. Just chilled out. Ate a whole lot of food I wasn't supposed to eat. Watched TV. No, slept.
I saw you at the stadium. Come on, man.
Oh.
Don't be shy. You at the game.
Oh, that was this past. Bro, listen, the days flow together so much. I don't even know what month we in. Like, bro, yeah. I was at the Giants game. I was at the Yankees Giants game Saturday, and then I had some food during the game and after the game that I shouldn't have, and had an interesting night. Was fighting for my life. You know how that goes.
Paying for it.
Brother. Woo, listen. But yeah, my weekend was good, man.
I was in Jonesboro. I was in Atlanta. Georgia, I should say, not Atlanta. I was in Georgia. It was cool. It was cool. This family stuff. You know what I mean? It was my niece's Sweet 16 and everything. So family went out there for the Sweet 16 and ended up in this spot called Fin and Feathers on Sunday. Shout out to Fin and Feathers, man. Definitely got pulled over. By Georgia State Police.
Damn.
Hey, if you ever in Jonesboro, right, and you see the cops, just let them go past you, okay? Don't make the turn before they do, because apparently, you have to yield to the police on the green. So
that's
I got pulled over by
sport down there.
Yeah, but I mean, thankfully, it was I don't know if you say thankfully, but it was a black cop, and he was from New York, so he let me slide. Yeah, like
with such erroneous disrespect, he let you slide.
Yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, it was a good weekend. Definitely a good weekend. But we're back here, back to work. Back to work. Normally we record on Mondays, but because I was out of town, we pushed it to Tuesday. But it's fine. You guys want to get it and receive it all the same. Listen, let's just start where a lot of us know we're going to start. This is pretty much obvious. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese thing, Iowa and LSU. Of course, for those who are living in a hole in the wall. Do we have? I don't know if we have a clip of that. We have a clip of that.
Yeah, we do. We sent you one.
We have a clip. Where's my?
It's a whole collage and everything.
Yeah, I don't have a clip for some reason. Wow. That's funny.
I spent a hard-earned 3 minutes putting that shit together. That's crazy.
I'm gonna look for the clip. I'm gonna look for the clip because I swear I download everything. But like I said, for those living in a hole in the wall, LSU and Iowa played over the weekend for the women's national championship, and of course, who was favorites? I don't know who was favorite going into that because I wasn't really paying attention to who was the favorites.
Me either. Mixed two of
us. It was probably Iowa, to be honest, mainly because of Caitlin Clark. She's been going crazy this playoff, so it's probably them, if I had to guess.
Probably. And I heard there was a lot of we're not going to take the disrespect type thing, and the women's team, the LSU didn't take it lightly, and of course Angel Reese being. I guess one of the main she's a star of the team of LSU. Once I find this clip, we could definitely take a look at it. I don't know why I don't have the clip.
This is insane. This is madness.
Right, because I download everything. I don't know why it keeps showing. I keep getting the Rendon clip, but we'll get into that. But Art of Trash Talk, man. Reese was doing the "you can't see me" and point to the ring, point to the ring finger. Before we shout out John Cena, shout out to Tony Ayo who originated this. Let's clear that up real quick. So the
I've seen so many of those tweets. Just I've seen the So Seductive video or some form or fashion of it.
But it wasn't the So Seductive video. It was actually 50 Cent in the club. He wasn't supposed to be in the video because he had a warrant out for his arrest. So that's why whenever you've seen him, he kept putting his hand across his face so the camera couldn't really catch who he was. That is the backstory. Yes.
Wow. Really?
Yes.
Black history, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Black history.
For those who don't know, that's the reason why how that call came created, because he wasn't supposed to be in the video because of warrant out for his arrest, and he was in the 50 Cent video. If you see him, he's wearing green, he's wearing a headband, and he's doing it kind of quick. He's doing it at the very end too. And when you see it, and then shortly after that, he gets, not shortly after, but I know it's a long time, he gets arrested. He gets locked up, whatever. And then he comes out, does So Seductive, he's doing it. And then John Cena, took that. So shout out to Tony Yayo, not John Cena. You know what I mean? Put some respect on his name. But yeah, so Caitlin Clark did that against, I think it was South Carolina. She did it against.
I think she might have did that before that game. I think. Like she did the whole wave off business during the South Carolina game.
Right. So she pretty much was asking for comeuppance, right? And that's what happens when it comes down to trash talk. Like you have like Tyreek Hill throwing a peace sign and stuff like that. Like eventually it comes back to you, and it did. So it became a whole thing, class and all that shit. But we'll get into that. Drew, what were your thoughts while I try to figure out why I can't get this clip?
Well, my thoughts about this whole situation are really, and I see Kev's. I know when I see Kev's face like that, I know his thoughts. But my thoughts about the whole situation, honestly, if you're trash talking, you're trash talking. I'm not a huge fan of trash talking because it comes back to bite you many times. Like you have a bad game, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I saw you trash talking. Now look at you," and then that's it. But I mean, it's fun. It makes the sport fun to watch, especially for basketball. I feel like trash talking in basketball, it's a lot of fun to see. Trash talking in basketball, trash talking in maybe football sometimes, but definitely basketball. It's a lot of fun to see. I know Kev looks like he doesn't believe me, but I enjoy some of the trash talking.
I don't.
If it comes from players that do a good job, like Dylan Brooks, you can't trash talk. You suck. Don't trash talk. Make bricks. But guys like Steph Curry, sure, trash talk. I don't mind it. So Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese doing it, that's fun. I enjoy it. What I did enjoy was the whole commentary behind it because it was so the opposition to Angel Reese was so predictable. And I wanted to give a special award called the Award of Why the Fuck Did You Say That? And this award goes to Jill Biden for all of a sudden we're having participation trophies, and Jill Biden's like, hey, why can't Caitlin Clark also come to the White House too? And it's like, minus the fact that why would you say that? I don't know if she realized, like, when she said it, the optics of it. Like, did you realize the optics of saying that, considering who Caitlin Clark is and who Angel Reese is and their skin color and what that message kind of sends? So that's kind of crazy. Those are my thoughts.
Good, Kev.
First of all, this now I like trash talk thing from Jude is just so disingenuous. It's great. I beg Jude to bring his real opinions, his real controversial opinions on this podcast, but he gives me that bullshit that we all fucking know isn't true. Especially when you consider that it wasn't just the trash talk, it was the rubbing it in factor on top of that, and we know Jude doesn't like this shit, and then he's gonna sit here, lie in my face, and say that he does. It's just fucking great. My opinion on it is just like with most things, like there's a lot of things that can be true, or a lot of opinions within the subject that I have. Now, the whole if we had just left it at what she did was whack, obviously, like, we're not having this conversation. Because to me, what she did was whack. Now, the first one at the free throw line, fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What you got to do the same thing 2, 3, 4, 5 times to get somebody to see it, it loses its luster, it becomes whack. Then obviously, like the whole after the game, she's still talking about her and this, that, and the third. All of it was whack to me. After once she did the "you can't see me" the first time, like, all right, man, cool. Like, you got it off your chest. Da 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 da. Like, and is it bad sportsmanship? Yes. Indisputably so. I don't know how somebody could actually disagree that it's bad sportsmanship. Now, the thing is, 2 things. One, me personally, I don't give a fuck about sportsmanship. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care about sportsmanship. Never have. Some sportsmanship, some shows of sportsmanship I like. The topic of sportsmanship as a whole, I just don't give a fuck about. Like, I just don't care about it like that. Like, and 2, like, what she did was objectively bad sportsmanship, but like, why does it need to become some greater criticism, some greater put down? Like, oh, her personality is this, or like, I'm not even gonna quote Keith Olbermann because fuck that guy, but her personality is this. The class, like, why the fuck do we need class in sports any fucking way? Like, we're not watching for decorum. Nobody's watching this shit for decorum. People just want to be mad about something. We're not fucking watching this shit for decorum. I don't watch Draymond Green because I want him to be classy. God knows how I want him to be fucking classy. None of this shit. I don't watch any of this shit because I want class. Like, there's 2 obvious undercurrents here with regards to this topic. There's the race topic because, well, Caitlin Clark did the same shit once. Like, obviously the context is different. I'm not going to act like those things are the same. She did the same thing, and you know, it was lauded, it was ignored largely, and nobody said nothing. Then now it gets done back to her, and now we gotta throw on the fucking cape and protect her, even though it's like, she's like, I don't care. Like, she did what she did. She won. She has the right to do what she did. Who gives a shit? Like, I talk too. And she said this, and we're still going all out like, oh my God, how could you do this? This, that, and the fucking third. And it got to be some grand discussion about, like, rubbing it in class and this, that, and the third. It's like, we could just call what she did whack, because it could very easily be argued that it was whack, and leave the fucking rest of the bullshit out of this, because we don't expect women to talk shit. Because let's call it what it is. That is a big part of this. We don't expect women to talk shit. Because when Draymond and Dillon Brooks were going back and forth for what felt like a week, really. Because every time I looked up, it was Draymond saying something, Dillon Brooks saying something. Then they played. Then there was a couple more days of him saying some shit. Like, yeah, did we laugh at both of them? Yeah, of course. But there were no referendums on class and all that bullshit, because we expect that from men. But women, we're just, oh my God, you're just supposed to hoop and be quiet. Nobody will say that, but that's the quiet part. Let's call it what it is. That is a quiet part.
Damn.
It is. And it's just, women compete. Like, the tournament was great. Like, I watched basically from the Sweet 16 on. It was great. I enjoyed it. And let them fucking compete. Let them talk shit. Who gives a fuck? It is sports. It's a game. It's entertainment. Why do y'all want people to dim their lights so much for y'all? Why? Just generally speaking, why? Like, oh, you know, why is she celebrating her? Because she just won a championship. Why don't you go do it? And maybe you can celebrate however the fuck you want to. How about that?
I love the dim your light part because it's so true. I mean, to the victor goes the spoils. If you're,
oh God, you know, oh my God.
I said to the victor goes the spoils.
You're gonna act like I haven't sat here and watched you talk about Aaron Rodgers and Odell Beckham for the last like 6 years of me knowing.
Well,
you.
that was
really.
Well, that was because I just didn't like them on a personal level. So I'm a hypocrite. If I like you on a personal level as a player, you can do whatever you want. If I don't, you can't. So like Rex Ryan, you can talk all the shit you want. Odell Beckham, when he was with the Giants, just get back in the huddle and do your thing. Aaron Rodgers, get back in the huddle, do your thing. That's it.
That's real. So shut up and dribble, basically, is what you're saying.
Pretty much.
I'm gonna ignore the white guy.
Pretty much.
For shut up and dribble to Odell, huh? That's what we're doing. I feel like Rodgers and Odell might be teammates in a couple of But anyways, that's what we're doing.
Isn't that funny how life works? But I'm not saying that. I mean, you can do a little trash talk, but don't be too excessive in it. If it's like William Gay, don't do that. Just
why? Why not? Why? Like, why does William Gay kneeling on the sideline or whatever it was that he was doing? Why does that bother you? Why?
Well, it took too long. You just do your little thing.
But why does that bother you though? He don't like them dudes. He just scored a touchdown. Why does that bother you? You don't root for the Steelers. The only people who should be bothered by that shit are Steelers fans because they got a 15-yard penalty. Now, granted, they were playing against AJ McCarron. I don't think anybody cared, but they got a 15-yard penalty out of it. That's what we were like. Oh well, it took too long. What? There's a time limit now? So that last I checked, Cam Newton wasn't doing long celebration. You hated that. Aaron Rodgers' belt shit is not long. You hated that shit too. Odell's celebrations were not long. Elaborate, yes. Long, no. You hated that shit too. Like you hate fun and you hate when people celebrate themselves.
Yeah, you could enjoy the horn cell phone celebration. You could enjoy Terrell Owens, pom poms.
Terrell Owens. I don't know what I lived on Terrell Owens, like going into the middle of the field and doing all that stuff.
What's the problem?
Yeah. The only reason why I can't pull up the file, because I guess the file that you had, Kev, it has to be like MP4. The file, I mean, it works on my phone. It's not on my computer for some reason. It's there. I've seen it.
I made it in iMovie. That's probably the problem. But
yeah,
because I've never used that because I put the clips together. Anyways, all right.
Yes, I saw it.
Next time. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, as far as listen, let's call a spade a spade, man. When Caitlin Clark was doing it, it was like, I mean, mind you, Caitlin Clark is nice at basketball, and I think this is what the greatest disservice is. It takes away from the fact that Caitlin Clark can actually play basketball, right? Mm-hmm. We're not talking about someone who can't play ball. We're talking about someone who's dropping 30-point, triple doubles and shooting it from the parking lot. Like Caitlin Clark can play ball, right? Mm-hmm. The rivalry goes back from when Angel was in Maryland, because Angel was in Maryland. And then she got hurt and she ended up going to the transfer portal, ended up in LSU. So they have a deep rivalry. So the story is there. The problem is, and this it's no elephant in the room. Caitlin Clark is white, Angel Reese is black. That's what it is. And when you dog whistle and say things like thug, class, they're just listen, just say, come on, man. What's my man? Trinidad James, nigga. Just do it. Just do it. Because
what's that clip with Delroy Lindo where they were doing the fake? They were doing the fake news thing about that, and he was like, "Say it. He was,
I dare you to say it. Right. I want you to say. Just say. You know why? Because the pretending that this is about class situation, it's just annoying. It's stupid. Like calling someone. Like the idiot calling someone calling her a fucking idiot. Yeah. And then saying the next day, I apologize, I wasn't informed, but it still looks bad. No, it just makes you a fucking
That's just not an apology. That's not an apology, dickhead. Like you could have kept that shit.
It's not an apology to say, oh yeah, you could have kept that, Keith Olbermann, and I'm saying it because I want you to see I'm the one who tweeted and called you a fucking idiot. I know many people did, but I was the one that said, yeah, you're a fucking idiot, because it just doesn't make sense for you to criticize someone and say, well, I was uninformed, but then double down on this shouldn't be happening in sports. Like, listen. So
what was the point of the apology? I didn't watch, but this still shouldn't happen. So what the fuck was the point of the apology? The apology. What was the point?
It does a disservice to two competitive people. Now, Angel Reese said her part, like, hey, I know what you guys are going to say about me. It's been said before this happened. It's going to be said after this happened. It doesn't matter. It's said I'm going to be loud and boisterous, and I have the right to, because, hello, we won.
I won.
When Steph Curry was doing this, hey, they won. You know what I mean?
And as Steph Curry said, man, like, if you're gonna shimmy, you gotta be ready to be shimmied on. Right. If you're gonna do you gotta be ready to have it thrown back at you. That just goes with anything with trash talking, man.
And then you
gotta be prepared to get got sometimes.
Right. And then people saying, oh, it's the timing of it. It's it's the end of the game. You already won. That's the best time to do it. You won.
Yeah, you won. That's the best time.
Right, not in the Elite 8, not in the Sweet 16. Right. In the championship, where it's over, this is the best time. And they said prior to, LSU wasn't taking the disrespect. We're not taking like, hey, we know who you are.
Some of that was strange though, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like because like she was talking about like I've never seen somebody be mad about disrespect to another opponent. That made like I'm not here to listen. People invent slights, and I mean y'all.
Jordan did it.
Thank you. I was gonna say that. Yeah. Like y'all praise Jordan to the highest mountains because he invented slights and he was talking about some rookie on the Bullets was doing this, that, and the third. And then you look back at the game and that never actually happened.
Never happened.
All kind of shit. All kind of shit. That was funny. But like, as far as the timing of it, whatever, like saying it's poor sportsmanship is fine in a vacuum. If you want to leave it at that and you want to say it was whack, fine. Say those things. Just the class, and you don't have any class, and you got people. And mind you, these are 20-year-old kids. Like on top of everything else here, these are 20-year-old kids, dog. Like these are not 30, 35-year-old people, adults. These are 20-year-old kids. She had a little bit of fun. Did she rub it in? Yes. Also, like, you want to call us poor sportsmanship, be my fucking guest, but who gives a fuck? Like, why does it have to be a fucking referendum on her character as a person? Like, oh, she's classless, and what are they teaching over there at LSU? I don't know, how to win championships, maybe? I don't know. Maybe
right. Like, we listen, we can't, there's a lot of people in society, right? When it comes to these things, like, just shut the fuck up. Just let people do what they do. Just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And, there's a lot of dudes who don't know when to shut the fuck up. And it's entertaining. You know what I mean? So, Draymond Green. This is a quote from Draymond Green. I catch a lot of flack for the way I ride for Bron. Me being fucking happy for Bron. Yeah, Legion censored. I'm not censoring myself. Fucking happy for Bron. That doesn't dim such light. I always tell people that that's your losing ass mentality. I always compare it to slavery, where they want to turn us against each other. Draymond, come on.
Damn.
Yo, there's two things I want athletes to stop doing.
Wait. Okay. I'm not gonna say. I just for some reason now noticing the shirt that you have on. I can't sit here and let you comment on black people business with a Zach Wilson shirt on. I can't do it. Like
what the wait? I just saw it too. Like what the?
It's fuck sitting on my spirit. Like,
wow.
I cannot sit here and let you comment on black people business when you got old January 6th face on your shirt. I can't.
That's like being Uncle Bix. This is like Uncle Bixby coming onto the podcast right now.
That's crazy to me. That's this is insane.
We designed the shirt, and I'm going to represent the brand and our good design. Our good design.
Design.
Great.
Anyone listen. Anyone could wear number 2 for the Jets. I wish Zach Wilson would give
his name was on the shirt.
His name is on the shirt. We designed
shout out
to
Curtis. He does great work. Shout out to Curtis. 100%. He does great work. Let me make myself clear. I'm not shitting on the work at all. But you're about to comment on a black man taking it too far with slavery.
Hey man, come on, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I just want athletes to stop doing 2 things. Stop comparing playing sports to war.
Please.
And the slavery thing. Okay. If you've read Bread and Circuses and you read $40 Million Slaves and stuff like that, I get that. But this doesn't play, right? That doesn't play. You're trying to sound smarter than you are. And Draymond's a smart guy. But just with the slavery angle, bro, like, come on, man. Like, let's just keep it surface level, right? Do you catch a lot of flack for the way you Robert Brown? Of course. You are a Golden State Warrior. You've played Bron 4 times in the finals. You're up against him 3-1. I know you want him on your podcast whenever you and him decide to retire, so you're probably playing nice and stuff like that. For
they're both clutch clients.
So. Right, clutch sports. So, yeah. So I get that part. But you're gonna get flack because you're his rival. You're not teammates. You know who his teammate is? Your teammate Steph Curry, who's also from Akron, who has 4 rings, and possibly would have had 5. You know what I mean? If you guys didn't, have the most epic collapse in the NBA Finals as a 7-3-19. So
that was kind of his fault too. He got ejected. Suspended. He got suspended for like a game, right?
Yeah, Draymond got suspended for game 5. Yep. Correct.
Right. So the nut kicker needs to relax. He just needs to relax, Dre. I mean, that's what he does.
In 2016 he was kicking a whole lot of people.
He was kicking a lot of people.
He sure was.
But yeah, I mean, Kev, go ahead, man.
It kind of goes with what I was just saying with the whole sportsmanship angle. It's like, all right, I could get linked in this way. Like, I could get with what you're saying to a degree, and then you just hop the line a little bit too far. You're like, all right, relax. Like, let's calm down. Like, yes, do you get a lot of flack for writing for your friend in public? Yes, in a way that's kind of funny because Draymond is doing nothing to anybody. It's harmless. Like, he's not selling off games against them. Like, it's harmless shit. He's praising his friend who, for most people, is the top 2 or 3 player of all time. So is this stuff funny? Is the backlash he gets funny from non-Warrior fans? Hell yes, it is. It's very fucking funny because it's like all he's doing is praising his homie. Now, does he go far with it? I guess it depends on what we're talking about because yes, he is also he's an active player playing against an active player. So it's not like if LeBron was retired, I'm pretty sure nobody would care. If Draymond was retired, I'm pretty sure nobody would care. But realistically, it is just a lot of people don't like when LeBron gets any praise. It's really simple, and it boils down to that. And most of the people who are doing the commenting with Draymond Green and LeBron are Warrior fans, and Warrior fans don't like LeBron for a lot of very obvious reasons. None of this has anything to do with slavery. If you want to talk about pitting black people against each other, that's a topic we could talk about forever. We could. If we were to start talking about that topic, we'd be talking until the sun came up. Like, I get it. Like, that part is fine. That part is fair. You want to bring that up, go ahead. But like sometimes it's just it might be the right point, but the wrong time to use it. And I feel like the slavery part is so ridiculous. I'm not even going to get into that, whatever. But the whole is so absurd. But the whole, like, you want to pit us against each other. It's like, do we really want to pit you and LeBron against each other? You already are pitted against each other. Y'all are rivals. Like, that's how this works. Y'all are rivals. Do I give a fuck about this shit? No. Do most of the people I know give a fuck about Draymond praising him? No. Is it funny to me? Yeah, because he goes out of his way to do it. Like, nobody asked for this, for example. Right. And he went out of his way to do it. And it's like, that's your homie. I get it. And quite frankly, I'm a fan of friendship. I'm a fan of friendship. You want to go out there like that. You want to ride for your mans. Go ride for your mans. But you play basketball. You play basketball against the dude. You've played basketball against the dude at the highest level in the finals 4 times. And you play for the Warriors. Of course the conversation will look how it looks, Draymond. Of course it is. Because you don't get to play the slavery angle. Like, if you want to be tired of the conversation, be my guest. I'm tired of a lot of conversations I see about basketball. I saw Isaiah Thomas talking about analytics and shit. I'm just like, I know what that motherfucker. I should have put that in the show. Fuck it. I'm gonna call it audible. I will dunk on Isaiah myself. I don't care what y'all say. He said analytics is the reason that these dudes are selfish and people only care about the numbers and they're getting paid based off the numbers.
Isn't that how it's always been? They get paid off the numbers.
You've watched basketball less than everybody else on this podcast. Yes. I don't say it disrespectfully. Obviously, it's the truth, right? And even you came to that conclusion without even a thought. It just came like that, right? Without even. Isaiah Thomas said this, and it's like, first of all, people have been getting paid off numbers since the beginning of basketball. What the fuck are we talking about? Number one. Number two, coming from him is outrageous. Now, Jude, you won't understand his case well because he's a lifelong Knicks fan. Isaiah Thomas put together Stephon Marbury and Steve Francis on purpose. I don't have like a football comparison to make this make sense to Drew, but Marbury was a point guard who was good. Like, the numbers look great. His teammates ain't fuck with him. He got traded 3 times before he got to the Knicks. And his teams never won anything, and they always got better when he left. For whatever the reason, they always got better when he left. Steve Francis was basically a poor man's version of Stephon Marbury, and they're both 6'2". he put them together, and neither one of them played much defense, mind you. Isaiah put them together and expected that shit to work, and then also put together a whole bunch of like personalities that everybody knew would not mesh with each other, and expected that shit to work. And now it's telling me, however many years later, that analytics is the reason that these dudes are getting paid, and analytics is the reason why they're selfish. You put together a roster like that, and you are telling me this? Get the fuck out of my face! I said what I said.
I don't get blame. Yeah, I don't get blaming analytics. I mean, with the whole Draymond Green LeBron thing, I'll just echo what Kev said. The whole slavery stuff's kind of a bit far. I mean, you can just say, yeah, you guys overreacting a bit too much, guys. Because honestly, and this is because a lot of people want everyone to be like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. They want everyone to hate each other off the court. They want them to be like, oh yeah, I hate playing against this guy. They pretty much want, even though the last thing that was kind of like disrespectful that I remember, besides the whole Dylan Brooks, Draymond Green, the Warriors, Grizzlies, was when James Harden said all Giannis can do is run and dunk. That was the last like disrespectful thing I remember, was James Harden coming out and saying that. And then we saw what happened when Giannis faced the Nets a few years later. So yeah, that was like the last disrespectful thing I remember. But for the most part, these guys are friends on and off the court. They're partying together. They go to the same strip clubs together. They're bowling together.
They deal with the same women, but
yes.
So
it's like, what do you expect? Like hatred every single get on the court. Do you expect them to be like, oh, I can't wait to play against this guy? I fucking hate LeBron. Oh my god! Like, what the fuck do you expect?
Like a little hate is fine. That's the thing. Like hate is great. I love hate. I love friendship. I love all of it. Give me all of it. I'm fine with it. I just don't understand why they expect Draymond to hate a man who is his business partner and his friend to that degree. Now, obviously, there's a lot of space between hate and adoration, and repetitive adoration. Let's put it that way. Because Draymond goes out of his way to praise LeBron a lot. And I mean, we just live in a society that thrives on negativity. Like on top of everything else that's said, we thrive on negativity. People like it, and don't get me wrong, so do I. Let me make myself clear. I like hate, but I like praise. Praise your homies. What's the problem with that? Praise your homies. As long as he ain't throwing games against them, I don't. What is it? Like Draymond said one thing that was a little bit egregious. But also, he said if LeBron broke the scoring record or was on pace to do it, and the Warriors were playing that night, I'm going to LeBron's game. Now, that's a little over the top, but at the same time, like, from a society that doesn't give a fuck about regular season games, I'm really not trying to hear from y'all how that's wild. Like that's all I'm saying. Y'all been telling me regular season games don't matter for a decade. I don't want to hear it. Now Draymond's like, hey, fuck this regular season game. Like I get to see something that hasn't been done, a record that's been standing since '84. Yeah, I'm gonna go do that shit. Yeah, now I'm gonna sit out. No,
I'm gonna be in street clothes and just be on the sideline watching. Stand up, man. I mean, listen, we are at this point where basketball is super friendly. And the old school media people don't like it, and some of the fans don't like it, right? They don't want it to be super friendly. It was the same thing with wrestling, right? At one point in time in wrestling, like Vince McMahon was like, if you were a villain, if you're a heel, you have to be a heel all the time, even if you're the nice person in the world. When you're out in the street, you have to be a heel. You have to stay in character. And if you're a baby face, you have to stay in character. Somebody asks for your autograph, something like that, you have to oblige them. Someone, asks for autograph, you're a villain, you could shit on them, whatever the case may be. And he never was a fan of the whole, you guys should be seen together at lunch or something like that. You know what I mean? That's how Vince McMahon wanted things. It's like, if you were a heel, be a heel. If you're a face, you're a face. And never shall the two meet, right? But in basketball, we see guys who are very competitive on the court, and we want them to hate each other in real life. You know what I mean? We do. We want them to hate each other in real life. And it's just not the case anymore, man. It's not WWE. This is the thing.
I guess we are in Inglewood. I think those glasses cost more than Mrs. Suit. The Dog Father.
Oh! That's WWE.
That was probably the most generational case. Like this shit what you did just now is generational. Like, wow.
That's WWE.
That was a segue.
I don't listen. Shout out to my wrestling fans, man. Unlike sports, let me say, wrestling is sports entertainment. They had to put that disclaimer: sports entertainment, because they couldn't call themselves sports. Which is funny because they are trying to, and this is for my gambling heads out here. The WWE is trying to figure out how to incorporate gambling into wrestling.
Yeah,
something that's scripted. I don't know how they plan on doing this, Jude, because it's just like, unless they're going to start like switching that. No, I'm saying,
I was going to say pretty
ahead.
much. I mean, the thing is with that is I'm almost certain, because like with any other league, like most of the other leagues as well, there's pretty much like, you saw why Calvin Ridley got suspended, because he gambled and everything, and pretty much every employee of any league, they cannot gamble or they will get suspended. I'm guessing it's going to be the same thing here, and it's probably the same thing in terms of leagues. There will always be a way. There are always going to be people who have sources and whatnot, but that's probably what it's going to be, like very heavy, strict. No, you can't do that. It's going to be leagues, though. I don't see wrestling leagues, though. Like, that's a random thought. I'm sorry. I don't hear wrestling leagues.
There are. Yes, there are.
Wow.
Okay, so that's the thing. I mean, not to get off topic of Snoop being super stiff in the ring, but there are leaks, and there's always something to indicate that something's about to happen, something changes. But the reason why that whole thing with Snoop Dogg happens was, all right, so the Miz and Snoop will do something for WrestleMania, and then Shane McMahon comes out, and it's going to be Shane versus the Miz. And like his daddy, I don't know if he tore his quad, but he definitely on a move. He tore his quad, right?
Yeah.
So just like his daddy, he tore his quad jumping over the Miz. He fell on the floor, and like he was really hurt, and he had to do something impromptu. So Snoop Dogg ends up throwing a punch at the Miz, and they have an impromptu match, and the stiffest rock. But I just want you to look at how stiff at he stole the people's elbow. Just look how stiff he is going off the rope.
I guess we are in Inglewood. I think those glasses cost more than Mrs. Suit. The Dogfather.
Man.
I've never, listen, Snoop is what, 50, 55 or something like that? He's in his mid-50s. A lot of wrestlers.
There was no bend,
There was no bend, no bounce.
Nothing. No bounce,
no give. No, nothing. The elbow, I give the elbow an 8 because he has some height on it.
He actually elbowed him.
Yes, he elbowed him. It has some height, has an impact. But the momentum to the ropes was just the worst thing ever. And it's just funny because most rappers are not athletic. Like 50 Cent throughout the first pitch at City Field was horrendous. It's just so bad. 50 Cent throwing his first pitch out. Who else? Who else were we talking about, Kev? It was 50. It was one other person we had mentioned. Jay-Z. The picture of Jay-Z at a Cowboys game throwing a football, and the football looks like it's like here, like it is like it was just it looks so bad. Like rappers are not athletic. You know what I mean? Some of them are in shape or whatever. A lot of them are not athletic. Shout out to Master P, probably one of the few. Ball, it was actually nice that Ball had almost made to an NBA roster. There's a few. J. Cole was trying to play ball seriously. I don't know why he waited until he was almost 40 to try to play ball, but he was seriously trying to play ball overseas. But Kev, your thoughts on Snoop Dogg's in-ring performance?
I gotta say, man, it was a hell of an audible. Like, I will give everybody involved that it was a hell of an audible. It was not the most ideal of circumstances. Unfortunately, Shane McMahon tore his shit up. It was not the most ideal of circumstances, so they had to come up with something. And Snoop coming into the ring talking about, "You okay, cut?" was so fucking funny. Number one, so funny. And like, I think he legitimately hit the Miz, which was even funnier. Like, I think he legitimately punched him. And then he elbowed him in the fucking sternum. Like, Snoop has just led a really charmed life. Snoop has done pretty much every fucking thing that you could think of. Man's beat a murder charge, and then ends up on like doing a cooking show with Martha Stewart. Like, Snoop Dogg being like a household name that you could just put on any house is. It is unfathomable. Like if you had told anybody in 1994 that Snoop would be like one of the most popular celebrities, with regardless of demographic and people, they would look at them like it was crazy. Like, how is that possible? Like Snoop Doggy Dogg him, and here we are. And Snoop Dogg has done everything imaginable. Like, there's nothing that Snoop Dogg hasn't done or can't do. Apparently, well, except apparently bounce off the ropes appropriately. besides that, there's nothing that Snoop can't do or has not done. The worst. It was so funny. That shit was so slow. The slowest was elbow of all time. Hands down.
Jude, were you a wrestling fan growing up at all?
No, but it was like, 2013? I remember I wanted to get into wrestling for a little bit. I think what was it? I remember the Uso brothers, and I remember Evolution. I remember liking Evolution for some reason. I like the whole Evolution's a mystery or something like that. I completely forgot that's the song. Yeah, but it went something along like that, and I was like, oh, this is cool, but then I got out of it. So I like to follow sometimes throughout Twitter. Like, the tweets are always entertaining because you always get the same people like, oh my God, why are grown-ass men watching wrestling, blah, blah, blah. And then you have a whole bunch of people like tweeting the shit out of it. Like, it's just like even if you don't like it or watch it, it's like, damn, these tweets are entertaining at the very least. Like, it's just
listen.
And like the Undertaker, when that happened, that's just a cultural experience. Maybe because of that one guy who had that mean face. It was like,
oh, when he lost at WrestleMania to Brock Lesnar, the streak was over. Yeah, like wrestling. We like the whole thing about wrestling being fake. It's okay. It's scripted. Yes. Is it a lot of physicality? Hell yeah. So no matter what, you're athletes. And a lot of these guys are former NFL players, former college football players. Like Bad Bunny's actually not any of those, but he's really doing well. Like if you watch wrestling, he's really doing well. The Miz, who people call him a reality star. He wasn't a reality star. The Miz, when he was on the reality television, he said, "I'm going to be in the WWE," or F at that time. He said it, and it came true. So that's like the brand of wrestling in itself, right? It's always been a thing where you don't have to be a diehard fan to enjoy wrestling, right? Like as you can see, Snoop Dogg is, I don't know if he's a diehard fan or whatever, but he fit there. Pat McAfee's wrestling, you know what I mean? Logan Paul, like, and these people are diehard.
We got musicians, we got former punters, we got a lot of things going on.
Like, I think we remember Pat McAfee more for his wrestling and his podcast than we do his punting at this point. It's kind of crazy.
That point, we eclipsed that point a long time.
Right.
Yeah,
be careful. Be careful, big fella. Be careful.
No, my stupid cat is over here doing cat things. I was like, what's hitting me? It was my cat, my bad. But yeah, like being a fan of wrestling is just one of those things. You could be a fan tomorrow, like literally tomorrow, and be fine. You don't have to be, I know, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Bret Hart, all those people, and you don't have to be a historian because one, they remind you every single match about some history of wrestling, and then there's always some videos you can watch. You could catch up like that to whatever, and then it's always changing. So what I mean, you can definitely go ahead, you.
I was gonna say the one entertaining thing I like to do on Twitter is like I'll go and look at some of the old posts and like remember when wrestling was like crazy, and they'll show like a whole bunch of like crazy fucking shit that they could never ever get away with now. I'm just like casual racism, just like it's some crazy, just some like I'm like
Vince McMahon's a maniac, dog.
Vince McMahon's a fucking maniac.
For a lot of ways, he's a fucking like, bro. He tried to put a storyline in WWE where him and Stephanie McMahon were lovers. Like,
his daughter,
like lovers.
Yeah. He tried to write that in, and
he tried to write it, and she was like, "No, bro, what the fuck do I look like?
What the hell are you doing?" Like, he definitely wrote in that whole affair against his wife with Trish, and he was making out with Trish Stratus and everything like that. And Stacey, listen, man. Vince
I understand why you wrote that in, but I'll leave it at that.
I mean, listen, if I had the power to write in whatever I want to write on this show, But I mean, listen, like I said, it's just one of those things. You could be a fan whenever you want. of wrestling. It doesn't matter. And even that being such a stiff moment, it's a moment. It's great. The memory is Snoop Dogg knocked out the Miz, and he did the slowest people's elbow ever. But it's great, and it does give you that any fan could be a part of the action. But sometimes fans, are a little bit too part of it.
You called me a bitch, huh? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, motherfucker.
Listen.
Also, full disclaimer before you start, he was suspended 4 games for that.
He didn't get his money's worth. He didn't get his money's worth. If you're going to confront a fan for words, he didn't throw anything, whatever. He called me a bitch. And me and Kev are advocates of fans getting their comeuppance, like getting the axe as well. I wish Rendon would have tried to go with his right hand. I know he's lefty, and he was pulling with his left, and he tried to flick with the left. Hey, bro, just use that right hand. It's cool. Just get that slapping, even a hard slap, whatever. Just get that slapping. But to get suspended 4 games for that, like, you didn't get your money's worth. He didn't get his money's worth, whatever. But Rendon versus fan, Kev.
Yeah. Listen, this whole idea that Rendon or any athlete in similar scenarios is out of line really irks my soul. I'm not gonna lie, it irks me because it's just like, all right.
Wait, I'm sorry, Kev. Not to cut you off. I'm very sorry. This has gotten less traction than Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Go ahead.
yeah,
way less traction.
Yeah. Different context, obviously, but for sure,
right? But
and while we're comparing things, I've watched Major League Baseball suspend guys less for throwing baseballs at people, but that's neither here nor there. Listen, the idea that Anthony Rendon or anybody else should just is out of line, or they should just turn the other cheek, or whatever expression people want to use, right? Because other people do it, or because you're making this amount of money. Listen, no amount of money makes disrespect any less disrespect. Simple and plain. You could be making $50 million. You can be making $50 a day, $50 a year. I don't give a fuck. No, nothing changes the fact that disrespect is disrespect. And obviously, I'm not sitting here saying that you should just respond to anything that you don't like and punch people in the face. That would be a little wild. I understand this. I'm not saying all of that. Once you start calling people bitch or pussy or any of the other words, you know them, I don't need to repeat them. Those type of words, you should be ready to fight. Simple and fucking plain, you should be ready to fight. Now, calling them out of line is just like, I don't know why we get to say that when the fan is the one who initiates the whole thing with the calling people out of their name. I'm just not here for it, and I'm not here to tell people how to respond to disrespect. Disrespect is disrespect. Respond however you feel. Some people can walk away. I think I am one of them with most things. I'm not trying to fight because fights with me, I don't fight fair. So like that's what's going to end poorly. It doesn't matter how it ends; it's going to end poorly. Like I'm not a fight fair guy. So the upside to me beating somebody senseless, and the downside, it don't match up enough for me to just want to fight. Now I will fight. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just not trying to fight no more. Not like that. But listen, him being suspended 4 games, like I wish the only part that I hate about this is that he didn't connect with that fool's face. That's the only part about this. That's it. He didn't fucking connect with that fool's face. I promise you. Listen, this whole like, the fan behavior is that, but you gotta work with. Listen, I'll tell you this: you let a couple of these fans get socked in the face, and the fan behavior will turn around a little bit. I'm not saying it's gonna. We live in an era where everybody is attention whores and everybody wants to go viral, so you're always gonna have the jackass at the baseball game doing the most. I get that. This is not 2006 anymore. I understand you're going to always have jackass at the game doing too much. Now, what I will say is Malice in the Palace, one of my favorite basketball moments of all time, because I love watching fans get stopped in the fucking face, like, especially those who deserve it. Listen, once that happened, it was a long time until we heard about another player-fan interaction, no?
It was
a long time before we heard fans be out of line in the stands because they were like, "Hey, I'm not trying to get socked in the face." Jermaine O'Neal damn near killed somebody. Like whoever that dude is, I'm sure he's still alive because I saw him on the damn dock for it. He should thank his lucky stars every single day that Jermaine O'Neal slipped. Every day he did not slip. That man might be dead.
It was getting dark.
It was permanently dark. He was running
into that punch like
listen,
Rudy Tomjanovich did. Kermit Green.
Bro.
He was running right to that punch, bro. It was going to be
more fans need hands put on them, though. Just to conclude it and not to get too long-winded with it, more fans need hands put on them, and it's a shame that old boy got suspended 4 games for missing somebody with a slap or a mush or whatever you want to call it. It's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
Jude, here's the thing. I have a question for you, Jude. Do you ever envision yourself slapping a fan of the podcast for going too far? Like
wow, this was an unexpected.
Yeah, very unexpected question.
I'm just saying, like, do you feel like hey, we're at a tailgate, and so hey, Jude, you suck. You just like hold my beer.
No, I'd be like, okay. I wonder who the fuck it is.
The odds of Jude slap somebody are like what, plus 50,000? Like just some wild long odds.
Yeah. Like I don't get like the crazy thing is I don't really get super angry like that. Like nothing really gets me like that.
Sorry.
It's the Holy Spirit. It's the Holy Spirit coming after you. No, it sounds like you found the Holy Ghost.
That sounds like more than a feline. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
The cat under the table, bro. I'm sorry.
The Holy Ghost is coming, but no, I mean, no, I don't get that angry. I mean, I can't say I would never get that angry, but to this point in my life, I've never gotten that angry. Like, damn, I need to fucking hit the shit out of someone. But yeah, because I mean, honestly, if you're doing all of that, it says more about you than it does about me. So you gotta live with yourself in the end. I'm just doing what I can. Anthony Rendon, he did the right thing. I mean, the fan was talking a whole bunch of shit, and so it says more about the fan than it does about him. I will say, just for a bit of
money to see Jude slap a fan.
Well, me too. A lot of money.
I would pay
a lot of money.
Front row at the Garden prices
to see Jude slap the shot. I'd pay a lot of money.
Damn. Sheesh.
Box office money, Jude.
Goodness gracious. But no, what was it? To go back to the whole Anthony Rendon thing. I mean, though, I'll put some levity to this and say I don't know why exactly Oakland Athletics fan is talking about someone being a dick. I mean, dude, you're an Oakland Athletics fan. There's like 5 people at the game. You're the ones wasting your time on a Wednesday afternoon. It's probably cold as fuck out there.
Well, to be fair, the fact that there's like 8 people only guarantee that he's gonna hear them. To be fair,
right?
To be fair, they only guarantee he's gonna hear them.
Your message is gonna be loud and clear, buddy.
Right. And that's why I was playing when Rendon hemmed him up, and he's like, "No, it wasn't me." He's like, "You think he couldn't tell? There's like 10 y'all at the game. You think he couldn't tell?"
Wasn't me.
It wasn't me. Like, yeah, okay. It was either you or 9 other people, and they're on the other side of the field. So you tell me.
And it's just like, yo, your team's about to leave your stadium. You got bigger things to worry about than Anthony Rendon. I think
Ace payroll is like $7. Like, what are we talking about? Their whole payroll is like $7.
$2. $7 is a bit too much, Kev.
I'm pretty sure Oakland's concession prices are really cheap. Like you can probably get $2 hot dogs.
They better be.
And the last thing I want to say is the one player I do want to see just go off on the fan is Shohei Ohtani. I don't know why, but I feel like seeing Shohei Ohtani go off on someone would be wildly entertaining. Like, I don't know why, I just get that feeling. Like, he always runs away from the fights and everything. I want to see him go.
He wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. At least that's what he strikes me as. Like, he's mad, polite, and peaceful and all that shit. Like, yeah, but
I don't want to see.
I just want to see anybody. I want to see anybody steal off on the fan. I don't even really care who it is. Anybody, somebody.
Fans getting cracked on. It just seems like a necessary thing that needs to happen.
And it's fire because you know, like in the instances that they get cursed out or they get stole off on, you know they deserve it. Like it's never one of those like, oh, it's subjective. Like, nah. Given how many instances we have of fans talking shit, like you gotta be talking pretty crazy to get hands put on you or to get hemmed up. Like
that needs to be at every sports ownership meeting. Like, let's stop. Let's protect our players. Let's protect our players. Like it needs to be all right. We know the fans put the money in the pocket and asses and seats and stuff like that, but come on, it has to be a line drawn. Like, hey, you can say stuff, you suck or blah blah blah. But if you call somebody a bitch, you know what I mean? Like, listen, Kevin Durant left. You know, part of the reason why Kevin Durant left is because Draymond called him a bitch. And they was talking about there's certain things that you don't say, like Shannon and Skip and Steve. There's certain things you don't say to a man. That's what they were literally saying that. And it's just one of those things. Like, hey, if you're gonna say that with your chest, be ready to get kicked in it. That's all. That's all. That's all. You know what I mean? Just get ready to get kicked in the chest for saying what you're saying. You know what I mean? And listen, if I'm ever in a tailgate or something like that, and you hear me say something like, hold my beer, because that means somebody's about to go down. But speaking of beer.
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today. Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible. Fuck Bud Light and fuck Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day.
Disclaimer: the Middle Initial Podcast does not condone any type of gun violence or any violence towards beer of any kind.
Can I go first with this? Can I please go first?
Dude, please, rock out. Rock out.
I have so many, like, first of all, what the fuck did a Bud Light do to him? Like, what did the Bud Light do to him that caused him to unload a fucking semi-automatic on him? Like, it's not even like a pistol. Like that video, with that video, I thought it went so many different directions, and him just busting out a semi-automatic. I'm like, I was not expecting that. It's like, and you unload it on the beer, like, not talking. Like, what did the beer do to you? And secondly, I swear, I don't know what it is, but I swear there's this weird fetish-like obsession with guns for many white men. I swear, because the way they pull them out almost anytime, anywhere, you take a picture of their daughter, there's a gun there, they're shooting a fucking beer with guns. It's like, it's just like, why are you wasting bullets on your fucking... I don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
Well, I mean, if you want to know the backstory, Jude, Bud Light has partnered with a trans influencer and defended its efforts to authentically connect with diverse groups of people after anti-trans backlash. So
that's it. So he did all this because of a fucking affiliation and a partnership. Oh, that man has problems. That man needs help. That man needs serious help. Oh my God.
Like, the funny thing about a guy like Kid Rock or all these other unhinged, psychos out here, they always talk about people being sensitive. Do you know how sensitive? I don't even know how sensitive. Do you know how psychotic you have to be to record yourself shooting beer? Cases of beer. You're not unhinged. And it just goes to show you that even when they say things like, we talk about school shootings and stuff, there's nothing a white person won't shoot up. There's nothing a white person won't set on fire. And they're proving it every time. A player leaves, time to light the jersey on fire. So a trans person becomes a spokesperson for beer, time to shoot that shit up. Like, hey, you're unhinged. Beer is just like, why is it fuck me for? Why is it fuck me for?
Like, that beer was waiting to be drank, and all of a sudden, imagine if you're just like a can of beer, and you're just like out there, like, oh yeah, we're outside nice, and then some guy just unloads a fucking bullets at you, like. Wow.
Imagine the person recording. Imagine the person recording for Kid Rock, and he really went, oh, that's a Bud Light. Okay, all right, what are we about to do? Oh, I just want to drink that. You could just gave those to me. You could just gave me those cases of beer. Like,
Like you shot you made a video to destroy Bud Lights for whatever the reasons, and like they think that this behavior is normal, and they will call other people snowflakes. Like think about that. Think about all of that for a second. Like they'll call other people soft. Meanwhile, they're doing that. Like I saw a video the other day of some dude in, I think it was like Marshalls, and he went over to like the kids' clothing section, and it was like shirts with rainbows on it, and he's just going crazy in the kids aisle. I'm just sitting like on the video. I'm just sitting like, what? You recorded this and you made this public, like on purpose,
right?
And everybody else is the soft ones,
right? Like, why are we banging on rainbows? Like, rainbows were a sign of luck and prosperity. Why are we banging on rainbows? Like,
wasn't rainbows a big thing in the Bible?
Yes,
probably.
Right.
Yes,
and this person
right.
had on, like this person had on like a God made me either a man or a woman shirt, I believe. I can't remember.
Yeah. So it's the bathroom stall thing.
Right. Bingo. Right.
Yeah, and it's like,
and now
rainbow. So beer and rainbows have a bad rap right now.
Clearly. Clearly.
So can you imagine? So what I want to know is, what do we want to drink at baseball games? Because he said but like in Anheuser-Busch, that's covering all your bases. So no rainbows and no beer. What, like, come on. No, we need the NRA to come out in this back. I think that's the only way we can get rid of guns. If the NRA came out and said we back trans lives and gay lives and stuff like that, do you think Kid Rock's going to take a knife and throw it at a gun?
Oh no, he's going to take a grenade. He's going to take a grenade out. He's going to have like a store of guns and just randomly like pull out the grenade and just throw it for some reason. It's just like,
I just think that's the best way to get to ban semi-automatic rifles. Somehow we need to get the NRA to support trans lives and gay lives.
Good luck with that.
Trans and gay gun ownership. There you go. Back that up and then see people. These guns are making me. These guns.
They are not pissing off their consumer base. Good luck with that.
Oh man. Listen, red state nonsense is just a thing, I guess. This has nothing to do with politics, but it's still in a red state. What's going on in Arizona right now with yeah, I thought I had that pulled up. Do we have something for that? We didn't have nothing for that, did we?
No, we had nothing for that. No. I'm just
saying. Okay.
It was an article.
Yep. What is going on in Arizona? Kevin's going to take the lead on this one because he brought. I did read the article, but it's about the Arizona Cardinals and their ownership. And yeah, what's going on, Kev? What's going on in Arizona?
All right, so apparently, a former executive is, I guess, he has an arbitration case, or he's bringing an arbitration case, and he's levying some pretty strong accusations against ownership. Like one of them being that
cheating.
He had, I guess, the suspended GM, like he had them on like burner phones with the GM talking or whatever while he was suspended. So which that feels like cheating that nobody should really care about. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. Whatever. Like, all right, he was communicating with the GM of the team who was suspended via burner phone. Like he could just go to his house instead. Like, why? Like, am I supposed to care about this? Either way, the more important thing is, and I'm going to pull up an excerpt from the piece and read it. So McDonough, the guy who's filing the case, in his filing that Bidwell had treated a black employee and 2 pregnant women poorly and created an environment of fear for minority employees. The filing did not include specifics on either alleged incident. I bet not. The Cardinals, citing a time when McDonough and Bidwell had met with free agent players, said Bidwell had no racial animus and called McDonough's claim a transparent smear that is truly beneath contempt. The grievance also said Bidwell reduced 2 pregnant women, one 5 months pregnant and the other 7 months pregnant, to tears after screaming at them with abusive and bullying mistreatment. So, listen, these kind of behaviors pretty much anywhere don't surprise me. It's sad that we're there, but that's how the world goes. Like, shitty people do things and behave in shitty manners. It's kind of what it is. like as far as the whole thing with the like they led with the cheating, which is insane to me. Like, who gives a fuck? I understand, like, oh yeah, it's football. You got to lead with the football first, blah, blah, blah. But if you look at what the actual cheating allegation is, who gives a fuck? Like, with all respect, who cares? Like, you have this leg against them as far as him mistreating minorities and pregnant women and women in general, obviously. Like, that should be the lead, and that should be what we're talking about. And unfortunately, we, in sports, with these teams, with ownership, you have a whole bunch of old, rich, white dudes, and we kind of know, old, rich, white act. So
you know what time it is.
Right. And listen, if you're going to foster that kind of workplace environment, eventually, I hope at least, the whistle's going to get blown on you. Now, Arizona, shitty organization, shitty franchise, ain't never done nothing, irrelevant franchise, and now they have this going for them as well. So it's like, it's just a whole bunch of bullshit with Arizona. It's been a whole bunch of bullshit with Arizona. So,
it's the good old boys club.
Yes, it is.
You know, Dan Snyder hosting cheerleading parties on a boat. You know what I mean? It's what we've grown to expect, right? Like, the owners are doing, wild egregious shit, and like Kev said, the burying the lead. The story is the berating of these women, but this the burner phones, cheating scandal or whatever the case may be, is just it's like they feel like we have to slide a football reason in there, right? That's what this feels like. Like, when they're like, Dan Snyder is one of the worst owners in the league, right? But you have to slide a football reason in there for it to be like, all right, well, your team is bad, you're doing this, whatever. Like, forget the fact that you're like pretty much sex trafficking women. But that's what you would like, pretty much being accused of, right? Is having cheerleaders go and do like private yacht parties and stuff like that. There's a slide of football reason in there. Yeah, we got him, right? You know what I mean? Even though his father was like a blatantly well-known racist piece of shit, but we have to throw in football reasons for this to stick, and that's what it is to be an NFL owner or sports owner in general. Like, they don't, if your business acumen, like Dan Snyder's going to walk away from that situation in Washington, right? With probably $6 billion. Magic Johnson, but we didn't really discuss that, but Magic Johnson and the group has put in the bid for the Washington Commanders. And, my brother being a Commanders fan, I got him like, yo, it's so time. It's Magic. You want to come to Washington? But
every time I hear Magic Johnson talk, I think about Damon Wayans on My Wife and Kids imitating him. It's
so
funny
time.
Every single time. Oh my, it's magic.
It's magic. But it's just going to turn to another payday for someone who's a bad person. We see with Donald Sterling and with the Clippers, and Ballmer buying the Clippers. Yeah, we got rid of this person, but did we really get rid of this person? Like, or we just, like, we haven't chopped the head of the snake off yet. It's just, this is an all boys club, and these are the people, and a good majority of them are reprehensible people. And, it's just the law of the land, right? And as fans or media, whoever, you can't do much but just point out the obvious, you know what I mean? Yep. And the solution is, the commissioner is supposed to come up with a solution. But here's the fucked up thing. Owners they get to vote amongst each other. So it's like, hey, if Kev is doing something shitty and someone points it out, and we say, well, Jude and I and Kev are going to Jude and I are going to vote against, put whatever Kev did to a vote. And we like Kev. You know what? Yeah, Kev, he's going to leave.
And here's the thing. We have to keep in mind here that you and Jude are also doing fucked up shit, and you don't want that shit to get released. So then, of course, you're going to be like, "Oh, let's protect our guy. Let's protect our guy." Yeah,
that's
you don't want your fucking demons released.
Yeah, that's the thing with Dan Snyder and everything. Like, for an owner in the NFL to get ejected, they pretty much have to do something that was just like so bad that covering it up is not worth keeping them on. And I'm shocked that the Panthers owner, it was Jerry Richardson, someone like that. Jerry Richardson, a couple years back, he was doing some crazy fucked up shit too. I'm shocked that he was gone before Dan Snyder. So it's either Dan Snyder really knows where the bodies are buried, like he knows, and I'm pretty sure there might be actual bodies buried at this point. So he must know where the bodies are buried to still be around even now. Because I could have sworn he's been going for like several years and he's still around like Mold or something.
Sure is.
To go back to Arizona, I feel like it's an Arizona thing. Didn't the Suns only get in trouble for something very similar to this a year or so ago? So
I don't know what he was forced to sell. Yep.
Right.
Yep. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I mean, I know there's a water shortage out there. Sorry, banned by Porus. I know there's all that going on, but geez. It's crazy out there. Like these guys are doing this thing. They go like a club or something. Like, hey, let's say we need a black man to lead black men, like the Suns owner did. Yeah. In more colorful words than that. He's like, yeah, we need a nigga to lead the Lakers or something like that. Like, okay.
We need a nigga to lead a nigga. Yo, it's so unintentionally funny.
Yo, can we just go to Drew's Grooves on that note, man? So I feel like we should. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my goodness!
It is that time. You know what time it is, man. It's the favorite time of the show. Let's hit it.
It's the moment you've all been waiting for. Pull up a seat and get off your feet for Jude's Grooves.
Yeah. What we reading today, Kev, for Jude's Grooves? What's Jude reading?
It's Gucci Mane's second verse off of the song Truth.
Here we go. It's nothing. Okay, let's go. I ain't playing with you. I ain't trying to dance with you. Fuck you. I ain't using hands. Let them rubber bands get you. Get them. It takes money to go to war, and we could go to war, nigga. Get them. I ain't no real rapper. I'm a fucking grave digger, huh? I'm an old school fool. Don't make me show my age, nigga. Grab a Louisville and turn it to a battered cage, nigga. I did a song with Keisha Cole, and I know you still miss her, yeah, but Puff was fucking her while you was falling in love with her. Wow. Calling you to a song, wouldn't even smoke no bud with you. Ha ha. I was screaming so icy and was a neighborhood nigga. Burr. This AR is my backup because I don't need nigga. Man. Yes.
How does any equal nod, bro? Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Mustn't hear when Flocka said, "Let them gums blam, nigga." Bow bow. Used to drive. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Used to drive the burn map for lots of grass, nigga. Skrr. I just who I am, nigga. But I ain't sparing man, nigga. Okay, we're done with that. So I know it's hard for you to sleep knowing you killed your homeboy. You left his son to be a bastard. Won't even raise your own boy. It's Gucci. My God. Man. I feel like we could find some other adjectives after a while. I mean, this is like what? I'm going to count right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times he said, nigga. You could have easily found the word used during that time. We don't have to keep saying it. We get it. I get it.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've been out releasing how many times a rapper says nigga.
Yeah, we can diversify it a little bit.
Oh God.
Like damn.
Yo, him saying man as non is killing. Number 1. Number 2, the skirt is very fucking funny. Skirt is so fucking funny.
Oh God!
I love this segment so much. Thank you for being a part. Thank you for being willing to do this, Jude. I really appreciate it, man. Every week I look forward to this. Every week.
Listen, guys, make sure you guys comment, rate, and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Make sure you buy the merch. We got some new merch coming out. We got some new merch coming out soon. Curtis and Dan has been in the lab working on some new stuff coming out. So if you like what we have, I mean, you don't have to get this shirt that I'm wearing because, you know, I took it down. So this is actually now considered a limited edition, or I guess old edition. I don't know, but this is no longer there. But Jude's shirt is still there. The Joe Namath tee is still there. So you definitely check out the Joe Namath tee at MIPod store. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, middle_initial_pod on TikTok. Make sure you follow Kevin Lewis at KayleeW24. Make sure you follow Jude Truth at Jude Truth. And make sure you follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at MIPod69. We also have a Patreon. We do drop the link currently. And we have a draft party coming up, second annual draft party coming up, food by Chef Cream. We're going to be in Harlem. We're doing 2 hours Top Shelf open bar with free food. And if you like that hookah smoke, we're doing 2 hour Top Shelf open bar, free food, and unlimited hookah April 27th in Harlem at Lust 77. So if you rock with us this long, make sure that you guys look out for that link. We're going to do pre-sale tickets. Only 20 pre-sale tickets going to go out. And then after that, we're going to do regular tickets. So make sure you're looking out for that pre-sale ticket link. Anything left before we go, my guys?
I'm good, man. Thanks for listening. Can't wait to see y'all at the draft party.
Yes, same
yes,
here.
Sir. Stay inspired by 69.